Here we are at Area 1, Stage 2. My second to last stage is a retreat stage where you have some very technical footwork or leaning up here in the front. Most people sprinted to one spot on a retreat, shot a bunch of stuff, and then sprinted to the end and did a happy dance on some 2x4s. Looks very similar to a stage we shot last year at Washington State, but a different start position. Stage would have been a blast to shoot moving forward, but they made it a retreat stage, and you just sprinted to two spots. All right, that's what it looked like. From back here, just give people a heads up because you can't see from stage. You had these two targets right here relatively close. And then you had one that was probably 20, 25 yards down the range. And you had to lean around a wall to see it very well. It was a devious target, to say the least. Not saying it was bad. It was just devious. So up here, you're starting with heels on marks. You need to step backwards into position, which actually wasn't so bad because it helped me get a wider stance here. It was a heck of a lean around this barrel to get this target. But if you lean forward, like I am right here, projecting yourself forward, it opened up the one target down this aisleway right there. Then when you shot, after you shot this one, transition into your transition your weight into your left hip hard. It opened up the one behind the barrel on this side, and they are tight shots. Matter of fact, I nicked the barrel, but I didn't get a full diameter hit, and I still had an 2 alpha on that target. Then if you stayed in that position, loaded up on the left foot, it opened up the inside target that you had to shoot around the barrels here, and then give a nice target to back out on a partial, as I'm doing right here, taking those two shots as I load my hips to run. I'm a fan of dragging the gun on long retreats. It's safer. If I trip and fall, the gun's behind me. It's not going to flag the crowd. Personal preference. As Poirot has this big, bald, heavy-set guy running at him at a high speed, hoping I stop. Spotting the target. I've already spotted, you couldn't see because the RO's in my way. My eyes were down, made my spot on the ground. Eyes are up. The gun is still behind me. Wish we could have seen how I transitioned into this. But the gun stays downrange the whole time. My body is rotating around behind the gun to start shooting. So I come in with my right foot is my brake foot here, meaning the one that I'm trying to bleed off the most energy. It's mounted toes first, that ends up sideways pointing towards a target. I will call it a target foot. And the left foot's going to come over and can soak up the rest of the rearward or rest of the energy from my run. And then I just have to open my hips up for this next target. So by running backwards and planting that right foot, left foot purposely goes right here. And I'm going to use my momentum to help set up this one. I'm already shooting. To set up the transition to this target. Yes, that's a little wide for just one target, but I'm thinking it's to shot next. So as I transition to shot next over here, some steel, transition, start to move backwards. The reload, got to get a reload before the end of the stage. I had a choice of doing it here or doing it here. My son and I, Joseph, talked about it quite a bit, and we both agreed that we would just dump a mag here and get the reload finished as we're getting into that final position, because it wasn't a position you were going to rush into because you'd fall off the board. So I drop, drag. You can see I got a magazine in my hand ready to go. Keeping the gun pointed down range, I bring it up the low pectoral. Now, again, I've already spotted where my feet need to be. My task priority goes to the mag well. I step back a little too far. That was on purpose, so I can come up and not just sit there and do a happy dance on the board, but I can get that first foot placed well, and then just step up when I was ready to start shooting. Of course, I missed the little step there. I had to readjust, but my plan, I think, was still solid. Transition to the partial. Long target you gotta lean on. Not that there's much leaning here because you're on a plank. And just finish up strong. As far as retreat stages go, not a bad stage. This would have been a whole lot more fun shooting forward because you actually could have shot on the move, which was not a common thing this weekend. But it was still a fun stage to shoot with a lot of little nuggets in there. Hope that helps.